because Rob's playing cornhole somewhere in Florida, everybody. This is Michael, and you're joining us for another episode of The Sticky Side. What's going on, Rob? How you doing over there? Rob doesn't have a live feed, so this will be Rob all night.
1916, but I just scored 2 on a 4-bagger. Pretty badass push to end it. I wish I had video of that.
Video or it didn't happen, man.
Dang it. So, well, like I said, 4-bagger.
Well, tonight, man, we've got joining us from Austin, Texas. We've got Eddie Grinderslev, man. What's going on, Eddie? Welcome to the show, man.
How's it going, everyone? Doing good.
It sounds like it's going pretty good for Rob, man. He's playing cornhole tonight. I'm sitting in the studio
in
my house.
This is a cornhole podcast, right?
Yeah.
I mean, every once in a while, you got to do it from on location, don't you? Oh, my God. We won from 16, guys. What?
Oh, my God.
Oh, not yet.
What is this, a blind draw you're in?
Yeah. Well, see, we got a regional
$5 blind draw.
Look,
yeah, we don't do $5. This is Florida, right? So we don't do $5 down.
Look, Eddie, so this is what happens.
Here we go.
So I make a schedule, right? We book guests. I try to share with him on the calendar, make sure we don't have anything going on so we can get these guests. And he knew about this, and yeah, he's still playing cornhole. Look, I apologize for Rob, Eddie.
It's a cornhole podcast. You got to do sometime from location.
Hey, if I would have known I could be throwing right now, I'd be doing the same thing.
I mean,
hey, when you got a headset on, nobody, you talk to the air.
Oh my God! You can play cornhole where I live 7 days a week, and you probably can in Austin too.
It's I think everywhere now. There's any day of the week I can go, anywhere around here and play bags.
Yeah.
What do you got? Getting beer?
Rob, that's distracting, man.
What is? I just told him to go get a beer. I'm coming in this office for a while. So.
Wow.
So.
Coming in the office.
You guys.
That didn't sound too good.
You should see the secretary. You'd change your mind if you saw the secretary.
Oh God. Shit's going off the rails.
You want ratings? I'm gonna get you some ratings.
Yeah. Well, that's what we got Eddie on.
Eddie,
man, what's going on with you, brother? It's been a while since I've seen you. Before the show started, we were talking about the last time we probably saw each other at an event. I know we just saw each other in Cali, but before then it was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I want to say 2015, 2016 was the last time I saw you, and we were all doing beer bongs out of a damn hotel room.
That sounds about right.
Wait, Jesus, calm down. You don't really do that, do you?
That was back in my younger days. I mean, last time I saw Eddie, man, he was baby faced, didn't have a beard, still kind of like a little kid, man, But look at him now. You were just talking about you got a baby?
I do. I got a 5-month-old.
Wow.
Man.
Congratulations, man.
You got any drinks?
Hey.
What's your kid's name?
Store over there.
Nora.
Nora? Oh, okay. I thought maybe you
Nora, yeah.
name your child something to go with cornhole or something.
Well, it was gonna be corn, but somebody Mary made a better decision.
Yeah, he talked me out of it.
Well, congratulations on that, brother. And it's good to have you on the show. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
It's good to catch up. So we met through the TCL, of course. I went and played a few tournaments up in Chad Jacobson's organization. You know what? I forgot how I got introduced to the TCL. Honestly, I think it was so Shane Wayne actually flew me there for a tournament, and then that's how I met everybody and kept coming back.
Yeah.
It's one heck of an organization, though, isn't it? It's big. That TCL and Chad Jacobson, he's done some hard work in building that thing, man. It's big.
No, it's a very it's a large organization, especially here in Texas. It's things have kind of equaled out. North Texas is pretty much, I would say, majority of North Texas is TCL, but pretty much everything south of Waco, which is dead central Texas, is all ACL now. So it's a pretty major split.
What I didn't mean to step on you, Michael. Eddie, what caused that? Do you think? That whole split, because the whole state was pretty much united with TCL, and then the ACL kind of came in, and for a while they were kind of united, doing each other right, and then all of a sudden it was a pretty nasty split in like 2019. What caused that? Do you know? Are you aware of it, or can you talk about it?
I don't know a lot of the politics of it. I just know, y'all know how it is. Some people just wanted to get away from certain organizations, and they kind of said, okay, I'm getting away from you. You're not treating us right. We're going to run this other organization. And a lot of it had to do with bags. Bags was making money off of bags. And TCL really wanted to keep their logo and, their brand. And, ACL wasn't about that. So, like I said, there's a lot more politics in that I don't know about. And I'll be honest, I really don't care to know about.
No doubt.
I feel that.
I kind of just stay out. I do my own thing. But yeah, it's been pretty much, I want to say 2019 was pretty much the final split. But no, TCL has a great, like I said, they got a big group of people here that are, diehards, and they really pull for TCL and they really promote it. But ACL definitely has taken a pretty strong grip, especially here in Central South Texas.
So talking about TCL, that's how we met, and it was 2018, 2019 was that your first full season with ACL? Looks like you were ranked number 1.
2018, 2019 was my first full season. Yes.
Okay.
I was asked to go play in that. I teamed up with BG, out of TCL.
Yeah.
And I came into the season really not knowing, how I would do or what would happen, and I just tried to play the best I could. Kind of really just wanted to make a name for myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember when I went to Texas. Okay, so back then you had like Kentucky, North Carolina, Ohio. Those were like the big cornhole states. Those states dominated all the tournaments for the most part. So when I went to Texas, y'all had some good players. I can name a lot of them, but I'm not. But you stood out above all of them, man. You were like on that level with the Kentucky players, with the North Carolina players. You were back then, you were the only one. You were the one winning all the TCL Signature Series events, and you were the man.
Yeah, I was pretty then when I first met you, I was pretty much the dominant, the top guy in TCL. And it's kind of like that for a good little while.
So what happened? Did they figure you out, or just everybody's getting so much better in Texas now?
No, I pretty much stayed a top guy for a long time. And then I'm sure you know who Josh Gross is, and I don't know if you know his old partner Eric Weathers.
The name sounds
they came onto the scene. They came onto the scene in 2017, and by that time I had been playing TCL for a little while, and I've been at the top of the ranks for a long time by then. and those guys were hungry. They came in and they were looking at it like Eddie's the guy to beat. Eddie's the guy to, we want to do something here. We got to beat him. And they put the work in. I kind of slacked off, and they came up fast.
Yeah.
But no, it pretty much stayed that way. I ended up winning another title in Texas that year, that 2017. I won another state title. And then, Josh and Eric started playing really great, and it was pretty much us three battling each other from then on out.
And now you play in the ACL, where
then,
everybody is great in the pro division, unless you're playing Rob. see if you heard that. In the pro division, every game's going to be tough. You have to, like you said earlier before we went live, you have to throw average of 10 every frame just to have a chance.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you score as a pro, you're only scoring 1 or 2 points a frame or washing for the most part.
Yeah. Very rarely do you get big frames. A little crazy fact here, which I don't think a lot of people realize, is, so, I was talking about Josh and, Eric and AJ Sims and Caleb Batson. Some of the top players in the state of Texas, we all live within 40 minutes of each other for some reason, which is pretty cool little thing. It may be because we all get together and practice against each other and, build each other up. But for a long time, it was just me out here away from everybody. I would drive about 3 hours into, Dallas just to play tournaments. But I put a lot of work in when I was a little younger.
I remember that because you were always far out. I mean, you lived away from, like, most of the people that play TCL were kind of in that area, Dallas, Fort Worth, Grapevine, or, and you were always having to come up from the other side of the state.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we were, it's about, generally had to drive about 3 hours to play in any major TCL event.
Well, I know you don't regret making the move. What's changed the most with you and your cornhole style of play, or who you are as a player since you moved to the ACL? What's the biggest change?
Shoot, I've had a lot of changes, since I met you. I've done a lot of different things. I think the biggest change, has been more, in my opinion, once you move to the ACL, it's not so much, yes, of course, skill. You got to have skill, and you got to practice. A lot of it's mental. The mental game. I've had to grow my mental game more than anything. And a lot of people ask me, what's the major difference of playing, in the ACL and making a deep run. And in my opinion, every game is almost a championship game. It's just getting through that game and moving on to the next game.
Yeah. And you can practice all you want. I mean, but if you don't do something to work on your mental state, to have a strong mind during a game of cornhole, man, you can explode. It happened to me at ACL Worlds this year. I went and played in the competitive division because I hadn't played in 2 years, so they put me in that one. Made a pretty good run, but I played this guy. I can't remember his name. He threw a blocker, and I threw 3 airmails in a row. I ended up scoring 8 points on the frame and made the score 8-3. Next 2 frames, he scores 10 and 8. And I lost in 2 frames after scoring, that 8 on 3 airmails. It's all mental, man. You got to lock it in, and I didn't lock it in.
The game has changed so much in the last few years that you can, even if you're playing competitive, you still have to play. It's not like, you can't take it easy on anybody, or you lose games.
Well, what's the biggest change? In your opinion, what's the biggest change?
Of this game, or the skill level of the game?
of the game in general. Yeah.
I think the game is just looked at just in a bigger view. So now people take it a lot more serious. You know, when I'm not sure how long you played, but I remember when I first played, you know, I took it serious and I was always a competitor, but it was still more of just a game, get out there, have a good time. You know, there's people that look at this as, hey, this is my job now. This is what I'm doing to try to make a living. I got to be the best I can be every time. So I feel like there's different viewpoints coming into this now.
Oh, I agree. There's if you're in the top 50 of the ACL, you can probably make some pretty good money and make a living off of it. At least, if not now, maybe the future. I only see it getting bigger. I only see more sponsors coming in. So, man. And it's tough because the competition is so much fiercer now, you know.
No, I agree. And that's something I kind of, you know, I look at when I go play. I you know, I do have, you know, sponsors that, you know, they take chances on me. So it's one of those things is, yes, I'm going out there to play, but I'm not just playing for myself. I'm also playing for the people that took chances on me to make sure I get to these tournaments with no worries. You know, so it's not just going out there and trying to enjoy it as much as I used to. I do have a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. And I try to keep that mentality of enjoying the game, but also know that there's a lot of people watching, and I try to do my best every time.
Yeah. Hold up. There's two things. First of all, if you're playing Rob, yeah, of course I was listening. I'm on mute. You're not. And secondly, what the hell is fiercer? Somebody tell me what fiercer means. That's just those are the only two things there.
Well, I probably meant to say
fiercer. More fierce? Maybe
more
I don't know. Fiercer.
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 Hold on. I'm
more
gonna Google
fierce.
that word right now.
More fierce.
That might be. Hold on. Fiercer. Hold on.
Fiercer. He really still thinks it's a word.
Fiercer. Definition of fiercer by the Free Dictionary. Fiercer translation English dictionary definition of fiercer, a hostile and violent, especially by nature. Oh, it is a word, Rob. What are you doing, man?
But it's not the way you conjugated it. The competition is not fiercer.
It's pretty hostile. I mean, it's not violent by any means, but definitely characterized by or showing hostility.
Oh, I love you guys.
Eddie, have you ever felt hostility on the
Only
boards?
now. Only now.
Thanks for chiming in, Rob. I appreciate it. Hey,
well, my
talking
dumbass
got
all the
Rob,
way.
And you said you had like a story you wanted to tell when Eddie was on.
Well, it was just that story. A bunch of people, they were in that. What was that called back then? When I sent Noah and Jamie over there together.
Well, I'll tell you what happened is Rob Chismark sent some people down to Texas he said, hey, go beat up on those Texas guys. And,
they're terrible.
He didn't realize that I was down here.
I realized it, but again, I said they're terrible. Those guys over there. I mean, they can't win anywhere but Texas. That's why they stayed. That's why the league has 16,000 members, because those dudes can't win anywhere but Texas. Oh, they started including Oklahoma. 2018. The end of 2018.
It was actually the 2018-2019 pro season, but I was still at the time playing TCL events, and this was actually a time where TCL was allowing players to come in and play, and Rob sends down, Jamie and Noah, which
some cornhole mercenaries.
Everybody came in oohing and awing. These guys came in, and I'm like, okay, these are guys I got to play on a regular basis now. I can't look at it like that. So, I think Rob sent those guys down and changed my whole career after that.
Oh, I'm going to tell you what. So I sent them down there, and like I was telling you, Mike, everybody now is called a GOAT, right? Everybody, the GOAT this, the GOAT that. Everybody's the GOAT, but truthfully, that stands for greatest of all time. So you can't all be GOATs. but they were all goats. So I was like, well, Noah's better than that. So I started calling him the shepherd, right? Because he's shepherding all these goats because he was good, man. He was great. And all of a sudden they go down there. I send these dudes to Texas, whatever, hook them up so they can get out there. And they go down there and they start playing and they're telling me they're doing great all the way here. Boom, boom, boom. And all of a sudden they play this dude like he had a beard, long hair, and wore sandals. And I'm like, what? And he won? So from then on, I started calling Grinderslev Jesus, right? Jesus. Look at that profile. Look at that picture though. Look, that looks like Jesus right there.
Mean,
You've seen that one?
Yeah, if your beard was longer.
A little bit longer. Well, at least in the American pictures of Jesus, but yeah.
Yeah.
So ever since then, he's been Jesus Grinderslev to me.
No, I threw extremely well that tournament. That was really kind of the. So what had happened is I had went to Florida a month prior to that event for my first ever, national event, and I made a little run. It wasn't a great run, but a little run, and I came home and said, "Shit, I gotta play better." And so I switched bags. I started throwing Reynolds bags, and went into that tournament telling myself I was winning that tournament no matter what. And here comes Jamie and Noah walking through the door, and I said, "Well, if I'm going to win one, this is it." And really, after that, that was it. I mean, I felt like that kind of gave me. People were like, "Okay, they can compete." That kind of opened the door for all of us. Really, I feel like.
We kind of did the same thing, but we did it earlier, man. In 2018, I think Texas Cornhole players were established. Like, it was known that you guys got some elite throwers there, I would think. Yeah. But when we went down for that Ryder Cup, I put together a North Carolina All-Star team, and we went down there because we had an open invitation from Chad to compete in the Texas Ryder Cup. And little did we know, Kentucky put together one too and took some of their top players. And I kind of miss it. That was back when cornhole was fun, man. And,
yeah.
I mean, it's still fun.
It was,
but it was more like a family type atmosphere to me.
Y'all brought down a group of, y'all were able to do that to where y'all basically brought down the best of the state. And here, obviously the Ryder Cup here is completely different.
Yeah.
So we play for our regions. And so when that happens, there's no way that we could put together a group of players, that are the best of the state, because we have to play in our regions.
Yeah. And
so, there might be one region with two, good players, but y'all brought down 10 deep trying to play, some social players and, one elite guy on there, one top guy. But yeah, I remember y'all came down and it ended up being y'all and the Kentucky team. Was it Kentucky or Ohio? I think it was Ohio.
Was it Ohio? Who was on that? Christine Papke?
I think Adam was there.
Yeah,
Papke
Adam Hisner was there.
And Stacia and.
Yep. Okay, so I stand corrected. It was Ohio. Yeah, Ohio won. We got second. But you're right. I mean, the only reason why we came was because, Chad sent an open invite to us, and, we took advantage of it.
No, I loved it. I mean, like I said, I was able to get some great games in. And, I had traveled prior to that. So I had played some ACO, sprinkled in here and there.
Yeah, you never were a big ACL player, were you?
No. I didn't really. Most of the stuff was on East Coast. There's always been that argument where most major events were on the East Coast, and so it's hard for us to get there. And that's why I really feel like that's why TCL took off so much.
Mm-hmm.
It was, these giant, large events within the state of Texas. Yeah. And these events, they have events that rival anything, in my opinion. They do have extremely large events. Yeah, I know Rob helped put my name on the map after that one, so I appreciate that.
For those of you that are listening and not watching on YouTube, so the co-host Rob Chismark is actually playing in a blind draw tonight during the podcast, so he's on mute until he has to chime in, or until he loses his next game. So that's why it's kind of quiet tonight. But yeah, I'm gonna just give credit.
I'm in the finals. I tried to tell you that before. Sorry, I didn't want to.
Oh, you're in the finals?
Yeah, and I was throwing. I just threw a 4-bagger to get us 3 points. But yeah, I'm in the finals. From the losers bracket, though. I do have to double dip, but I don't think that's going to happen.
All right.
So, and with Eddie saying those kind of nice words, you put yourself on the map, Eddie. It wasn't like you were already, the map was already drawn and Texas belonged to you as far as I was concerned. But that was like a coming out party. You came out and then you just went to the best players in the ACL and you whipped them handily. And that was good
I ended
stuff.
up so after that tournament we had what was it, Missouri? What was it, Missouri? We had that tournament, that national.
St. Louis.
Rob, do you remember?
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Yep.
Right after those guys had come down, I had that St. Louis. We went to St. Louis, and I ended up finishing 3rd overall in singles there. So that was kind of really the start of everything, in my opinion.
Since you've been with the ACL, what's been your biggest match? Highest profile match? The one that, you remember the most?
Oh, man, I have tons.
Well, I saw one on YouTube, you and Cheyenne Renner, but it didn't have the whole match.
I mean, that's
there.
Most recently, I would say Cheyenne for sure. Played her at Worlds and had a double dipper. She put me in a loser bracket, but I mean, she was on a mission. She played incredible. That's really not much I can say there. She played amazing. I was happy for her. I was hoping she would win it all. Probably the most to date, probably high profile match. It was tough. It was tough in that crowd. Everybody was cheering loudly for Cheyenne, which definitely deserved it. She played it amazing the entire time.
No, that kind of sucks though, man. When you not that you're the bad guy, but you don't have anybody like cheering for you.
So I pretty much expected it. I mean,
yeah.
She made an incredible run. I mean, you got to go back and look at who she beat. She got me. She beat Windsor. She beat Cody Henderson. I believe Brett Guy. She has some big wins on that run. So I was hoping she would have won the whole thing. I was pulling for her pretty hard.
Yeah, she dropped.
But no, nothing but love on that because she played incredible.
Were you the last win before she made the Final Four, or were you earlier in the run?
No, I was we played in bracket final. So I had to double dip her. I got her the first game. She got me the second game. But like I said, she played absolutely incredible. Can't take anything away from the way she played.
Yeah.
I went back and rewatched a couple games. She played me incredible in the winner bracket, put me in the loser bracket. Just played absolutely amazing there. So she was on a mission. So I expect her to be a force this coming up year now that she kind of has some major wins under her belt.
Yeah, she's got that confidence built up. So once you got confidence in your shots, man, you can be dangerous. You can be dangerous. I don't know how I know that because I never have confidence in my shot. But yeah, so
what you need to do is you need to get Shane Wayne back in the picture, and I remember when y'all were running things, y'all get hot.
Hey, so there was one night. Remember we were playing at a signature series in a hotel hallway. It wasn't inside the ballroom. It was a hallway. They had the board set up. It was like 3 courts.
Oh, yeah.
And me and Shane were playing, oh, my God, what's his name, man? The real Stewart. We were playing Stewart and his partner.
Yeah.
and me and Shane beat him, and that was like a big win for us. I can't remember what we finished, but I think Shane probably has retired. He's a grandfather now, and I don't know. He's probably loving life up in Dallas. So, yeah, it would be good to go to Texas and see everybody.
Sadly, I haven't seen Shane in a good while. The last time I saw him, he actually had come to Austin, and we talked probably about an hour or so. I mean, Shane was always a great guy, but yeah, I don't think he's played in a good bit.
Yeah, he probably couldn't hit the board.
Probably since the last time you played with him. You broke his heart and he quit playing.
And that's what I do to my partners, bro. Female and male, I break their hearts and move on.
Now, I remember everybody used to give Shane a hard time for him, getting you to come down. I believe he flew you down, and I can't remember his name fully, but I believe his name was Victor.
Yep, Victor Ruiz.
Can't remember his last name.
Yeah.
Ruiz, yep.
Yep.
And, I mean, y'all are all just great guys. I know they kind of made some things a little difficult there towards the end. Y'all were trying to play state, and they were, y'all had been to 3 tournaments, and they're like, yeah, you're just not a state. You don't live in the state and this and that.
Yeah.
But I was like, man,
I got my TCL Pro jersey behind me. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I see it. I saw it back there. I saw it hanging up.
It's back here hanging, bro.
Yeah. No, I remember they used to shoot. Everybody would give Shane a hard time for flying you in, and I'm like, man, I don't know why they're giving you such a hard time. Y'all were just having fun out there, man. It was always a good time, no matter what.
So it was like 2016, 2017, or maybe it was before that. Maybe it was 2015, 2016. I can't believe it's been that long ago, honestly, to the point where I'm forgetting the dates. But, man, those are some of the best. Like, I think it was 2 years I would go to Texas and play tournaments. And
yeah, you came about 2 years straight.
Yeah, it was some of the best
Remember all them damn arm wrestling things you did, you and Kenneth Johnston?
Oh my God! Yeah, your old partner from the TCL days.
Yeah.
I went to Punta Cana with about 50 TCL people, and oh God, that's a whole story in itself, man. Fell in love out there. Actually dated a girl from College Station for a little bit. Gave that up.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that. They got you hooked up with some girl.
It was some good times, man. I wish her nothing but the best, and they treated me like family there. So I even flew down twice for non-cornhole events, just to visit her. So good times in Texas, man. I swear I want to move there. I really do, especially with the way things are going now in the rest of the country.
It depends on where you move now, man. It's like I said, I live in Austin. Or I actually live about 45 minutes east of Austin. I ended up moving back out and buying some land and a house out where I grew up in the same general area. I did live in Austin for a few years, but we ended up moving back out in the area, toward the Lexington area, really more central Texas, about 2 years ago.
Well, Austin is.
But no,
go ahead.
No, like I said, I mean, Austin's a little different. There's a lot going on, but I hear it's kind of. You're from where are you from?
From Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh, yeah. I heard it's changing up there a lot too. So.
It is. So, like, Austin is where everyone from California is migrating to. The people that
well, they call it the mini California.
Exactly. So I don't know if you listen to Joe Rogan's podcast a lot, but I do.
A little bit.
And he's actually in Austin. He moved to Austin, and he does his podcast out of Austin now. So he's always talking about Austin.
Why don't we move there? We'll be close to him, and we can do podcasts together.
I mean, that would be ideal. I would move to Austin. It can't be that bad. Trust me. I think Raleigh is getting pretty bad.
So the worst thing about Austin is the homeless population.
Oh,
That's what I would be.
The
if I
homeless
came there.
population.
you look homeless.
The homeless
already.
population is crazy.
Shut up.
Rob, you fit right in.
He would, wouldn't he? He
I'll
wouldn't
fit
have to
in,
change a
bro.
thing.
Fit in. I'm gonna wear my Austin Airmail hat though.
Hey, you'll be welcomed. No,
I hear you.
Austin honestly is a great city. Austin is a fun city. It's there's a lot going on. But it's definitely changed over the years.
Yeah.
Well, I lost the finals, guys. In case you were wondering, it was a real close one. It was 21-11, but close enough.
I don't know. 10 points, man. ACL Pro. That's not too close.
Oh man, you should have seen these two guys. Well, first of all, you should have seen these two guys we were playing. What if they were both ACL pros? What then?
Well, who are they? I can look them up.
No, they weren't ACL pros. They weren't ACL pros. But dude, this one kid, his name is Fisher Hamilton. You'll see that kid's gonna be something, man. He's good. These damn kids in that roll shot, your favorite shot in the world.
Ugh.
They put blocks in places just so they can roll. I just want to swat them. Oh my gosh.
Hey, Rob.
Yes,
Rob,
sir. Yeah.
Have you met Caleb Batson?
If you ask me about Caleb Batson ever again, I swear. you know I've met him, and you know he's beat the hell out of me.
2020, 2021, he's the #1 player in Texas.
Yeah, well, he's amazing. What is he, 15, Eddie?
Yep.
I played him right after.
He just turned 16.
Okay,
wow.
16. I played him. So Mike, I don't know if you know my medical woes this year, but I survived COVID and 2 strokes. Right after one of my strokes, I went to a national because the doctor didn't tell me to rest and lay down and do nothing. So he said, kind of live your life and get your stuff right. So I go to this national, and first off, I got Caleb Batson. And I'm having trouble with bags because I can't really throw normal anymore because of, from the effects. But I had been practicing, and I had been throwing rounds of 10, on air. I wasn't really playing a whole lot of people because it was going through and I was about, I can't remember how many days out of the hospital, but it wasn't very many. But I went there and I wanted to play. Didn't really talk about it. I get up there, playing Batson. That's his name, Batson, right?
Yeah, Caleb Batson. Yep.
But down and back, I throw 2 10s. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be able to at least make this game go a couple rounds. First round out, I throw a 2. Caleb throws a 12. It's 10-0. Next round out, I throw a 3. Caleb throws a 10, so he gets 7 more. And then the next round, I throw a 5 against the 10, and that's a wrap.
Now that sounds like more like you just played bad, not so much.
No, you're right. Right, a 12 of 10 and a 7 isn't that great, a 12 of 10 and a 10 isn't that great, but it's good enough, I mean, 12, 10, 10. That's what I mean. That ain't bad, right? 3 rounds.
A 12, 10,
PPR.
10.
Yeah, no.
That's what he got.
Oh,
12, 10, 10. That's what he threw.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 11, right? 30, 32 divided by 3. Yeah. So,
it is,
that's my Caleb Batson story. And he laughed at me. I was like, you little. Because, but again, I didn't talk about it. So it's not like he even knew what was going on with me. But, boy, he laughed. And I was having fun. It was funny. I mean, to watch somebody throw a 2.35, that's pretty damn funny in the pro division.
I hate throwing against kids. I hate throwing against kids because
Caleb looks like a grown man.
Yeah.
Well, so Caleb is like 6'2",
God,
and he's just a big kid. And yeah,
every shot.
When you stand next to Caleb, you don't think you're standing next to a kid.
Yeah, but he's soft spoken. He's respectful. He's a good kid, man. He's a good kid, and we are blessed with the kids that we have in the ACL Pro division. They're all pretty well soft spoken and very respectful. Not too many are, those kind of kids where you're like, oh, this kid, you know what I'm saying? So I enjoy playing most of them, except for it's not long games.
No, the reason why I don't like playing against kids is kind of what Eddie was talking about earlier when he played against Cheyenne. When you're playing against a kid, people are automatically rooting against you. You're like the heel WWE wrestler, dude. You get nothing but hate.
You gotta come out like that. You gotta come out like that, though.
So you know what? The biggest difference between the ACL and the TCL is really in the ACL, you don't have a lot of people that I would say necessarily cheer against you. You may have, one or two friends, that are cheering against you through the actual tournament.
Mm-hmm.
In TCL, you could have 60 people cheering against you the very first game of the whole tournament. Just yelling as loud as they can. And it's like, damn, it hadn't even started yet. This is my first match. The atmosphere in ACL is definitely. I think the reason for that is it's because at most of these events, these are all high level players, and it's mainly just players. It's not a bunch of family and friends out there.
Yeah, we need more of that. Because I would love to create that rivalry, that fun college atmosphere where it feels like a college football game or a college basketball game, because those are the atmospheres you want to be in when you're doing this kind of stuff. I just think it would change things, So
definitely.
I do have another story about your guys from Texas. One time in Vegas, I was out there way back before the pro division was the pro division.
Mm-hmm.
And we were out there, and you guys had brought, this is when Chad and Jason were still running it, and you were still bringing people around, and TCL and Texas brought about 40 players to Vegas for a national one time. And AJ Sims and Stuart Foster's girl were playing together, right? Isn't that who he started playing with early in his career, AJ? I think it was her or another girl.
I'm not totally sure, but I remember I remember the tournament.
Well, I had Brent Smith. He's a old cat, old ACO state champion from Georgia. And I took him out there to Vegas with me to play in the advanced division. And we come against AJ and her. And behind us is, each of us, behind us is 15 Texas people just cheering like crazy. You know how y'all do.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're cheering for AJ. And I four-bag on AJ, and I get 2 points, and I look back at all of them like, cheer for me too. I score. And they were all like, we don't know you. And I turned around and I pointed at my back. I said, that's my name. Cheer for me too. And we ended up beating them. AJ was so mad. It was a loser's bracket game. He was so mad. I'll play you in singles for whatever you want. And I said, that was when I pulled out the old, I got another game, bro. So it was awesome. It was like the third time I might have met him.
Yeah, that was early. So that was AJ was actually just moving in. I want to say when he went there, he had just moved into the advanced division and the TCL. Like I said, Josh started playing, I want to say probably 6 months before AJ did, maybe a year before AJ did. And then AJ came on the scene and really put they were throwing for hours every day.
Yeah, AJ got so much better from that time to where he is right now. And I mean, didn't he rise all the way up to like 5th in the world ranking in the ACL last year? Wasn't he? He was way up there.
No, so I don't think he rise that high, but he had that really high finish at Worlds.
Yeah.
And But no, he made a deep run last year at Worlds and moved up a whole bunch of spots. He's definitely come a long way.
Yeah, he was number 5 in Texas last year, so I imagine that put him down some in national.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome though. 5 in Texas.
The way a lot of it has, like I said, so a lot of it has changed. Where a lot of us guys, no longer play TCL. Myself included, AJ, Josh, a couple other pros. So we generally now just play as much ACL here as possible that we can. And I think Rob will kind of say this, that, since they invited these opens and all these shootouts and stuff, I feel like people are going to less local events and now having to, plan out traveling further away. At least that was the case kind of for us. We decided, to try to make some of these bigger tournaments instead of doing every local tournament we have. And so the rankings this year were, definitely shifted. And of course, I had to have a baby in the middle of the whole season, so that really threw me for a loop.
Yeah, way to go, Eddie.
But you got
to time that a little better, bro. I mean, we know how long gestation is. I don't understand.
Yeah, but no, things are definitely changing. I mean, there's a lot more events that we, as pros now, I'm not going to say required to go to, but are expected to go to.
Right. And there's a lot more money involved too now with all those pro events that you're expected to go to. So it's kind of a risk reward situation. So I can understand why you would stop traveling for the signature series, because you still got to travel a ton of hours, if you're going to drive. Most of the time you're driving anyway. So I can understand why that would be what you'd want to cut out. And the politics too, to be honest.
There's a lot more to it than us just not wanting to go to these signature series and stuff like that. I won't get involved in those things. There's a lot more things that can be said about that, but
those are the tough questions I wanted to hear. But I get it. There's no reason to put yourself on Front Street and tell us about it. It's not. I
mean, I'll just say this. I play for a different organization, and it's a give and receive type thing. I play hard, and I promote myself the best I can, and I feel like I play for an organization that also promotes me for doing well and pushing myself. So I'll just kind of leave it like that.
Respects you the same way you respect it.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line, is that you're being respected back. When you join the American Cornhole League Pro Division, there's no doubt about it that the promotion is positive all the time. And it's not just about the ACL. It's Eddie Grinderslev, ACL Pro. And that's what, and that's exact. I know exactly where you're coming from with that, because it happens really all over the country when you get the smaller leagues that want to promote their league and earn that money. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
You're in the right place.
Like I said, I don't have any, ill thing to, I don't have anything negative to say. It was more of just a personal choice in the long run, over some things that, had been said and done. But I mean, the past is the past. And like I said, I definitely have no regrets. I'm still throwing bags. Like I said, I used to have to drive 3 hours to play bags once a month, if I could. And now I got people messaging me saying, "Hey, I'll come to this today," or, there's 6 different events around me any given day. So, it's definitely come a long way since I first started the game.
Well, the ACL allows its players to create themselves as a brand. That's one thing I get out of it. And that's good, because if you weren't with the ACL and you were still with the TCL, do you think you would have players from other states calling you that? Well, you probably would, but not because of the exposure the TCL's given you. the ACL's definitely giving you a lot more exposure. I mean, you've been on ESPN how many times? Whether it's ESPN main channel, ESPN2, or I don't know. I don't know how many times you've been on. I'm sure it's a handful. So that's what the ACL, man, it definitely gives players a big opportunity to create a brand with themselves. You couldn't do that in the other organizations. You just didn't have that kind of exposure.
No, and we all know the last 3 years has been insane. I mean, like I was saying earlier, there's people that now aren't having to work because, they're making, and, they may not be necessarily making the money off of the ACL, but what sponsors are paying nowadays are, is huge.
Well, you've got
I wish we knew more. I wish there was some way to figure out, just like a baseball salary or a football salary. I wish there was a way to figure that out so that we can all establish ourselves at a value level. Even the lowest ranked pro should have a value level to where somebody should have to pay for them to sponsor them. Now you can run around with no sponsorship, just like on a NASCAR situation. Mm-hmm. But we ought to establish what that average is, and then we should go from a low average to a high average, to establish what all 256 pros should be sponsored at. Well, I think.
Well, Rob, let me ask you this: out of 256 pros, how many of those will not get any airtime on either a live stream or either ESPN2 or ESPN or CBS or NBC?
I'd be surprised the thing about live streams is there's an opportunity for you to get that throughout the bracket. If I happen to be playing Eddie Grinderslev and they thought that was going to be a decent match, they're going to put us on. So the thing about that being one of the 256 is that the opportunity is there. When we sit there, because I am sometimes part of the commentary team, and with that, when you get on the live network, you have an opportunity to look at what matches are coming up next, and you kind of have an opportunity to make that match on that broadcast. So it doesn't really matter what your name is. If you happen to be playing somebody big and you might be on a run, you're 2-0, they're going to throw you up there. So the chance for exposure is, I wouldn't say it's the exact same, but the chance for exposure for everybody is good. And I do understand what you're saying. How many may not? I would say a quarter of the people may never show up on the broadcast. That doesn't mean they're not in the crowd. That doesn't mean they don't, I can still expose you. And that's what I was talking about, being a pro and being professional before, is that no matter if I never make a finals in a bracket, I'm still very professional when it comes to what I do for my sponsors and the people that support me.
So when I talk to potential sponsors, it's not just, I don't go in just saying, hey, I have these opportunities to be on, ESPN, CBS, whatever it is. I also promote heavily in social media. Just this past weekend, I was, I had a sponsor of mine ask me, hey, do you mind coming to a fundraiser and, talking a little bit? I promote myself heavily and, push their brands, even if I don't make these appearances. My goal is always to try to make appearances and always try to, no matter what I do, if I play in a tournament and I go 0-2, I'm still going to say, hey, thank you for allowing me to get to these places. Mm-hmm. Is it easy to do all the time? No, but there are other opportunities. And like Rob said, we have sponsors here that, say, hey, if you don't make it on the broadcast, I would like to see you in the crowd with our shirt on or our hat on, but make sure you're out there. So there are opportunities besides always making a broadcast. Everybody's goal is to make a broadcast. I can say that right now. Does it happen all the time? No. but there are opportunities to expose potential sponsorship brands on national television.
Fair enough. Yeah. I was just looking at that from, I believe Rob was mentioning having a minimum. I don't. What were you saying, Rob? Something about every pro having a
just like a
sponsor at a
minimum,
minimum salary.
At a minimum salary, just like so the rookie minimum in the NFL used to be like $1.4 million, as you know, and then the veteran minimum might be a little bit more, a little bit less than that. But you establish that. But like I was telling you before, it's not like there's a team that's drafted you and that you have to be paid that. But at some point, that could possibly happen. I mean, cornhole could go that way. I'm not sure. But I think as this thing grows and changes and morphs, I think that it may get to a point where that pros may not have to work. Yeah. Pros may be able to do just cornhole. The way that they've switched the season to go from October to August and leave us that little bit of off season is kind of already a cool thing, so that we can kind of regather ourselves. And really the pro season goes from January to August and actually into September now because of the shootouts. But yeah, it's cool that we can now gather ourselves and have an off season and begin to grab those new sponsors and promote them correctly. And just, we get to do a whole new thing, and it's just cool, man. I love the American Cornhole League, and I love being part of it. I love being a professional, and
well, let me ask you this. Well, I'm going to ask Eddie first. Okay, so let's just say the ACL made a Ryder Cup division. 10 players from each state are drafted to be on these teams. Which state would be on top if there was a tournament?
What'd you do?
Well, this is you, Eddie.
Hey, I'm going to I'll put my guys up against anybody. I mean,
you only got 7.
Hey,
draft Shane Wayne.
Hey, we got plenty of players. We're pretty deep nowadays.
If you use, I think if I had ACL pros, there wouldn't be. You would have to do it by conference instead of by state.
Yeah.
So, and we've seen what that looks like at each world tournament. The guys that go.
Yeah, we have the conference cups.
Yeah. So the guys that go and get all their events, they do a top. What was it? It was top 16.
16.
They do a top 16 conference cup, Mike, at the World Championship. So there's 14 conferences, 16 players in each conference, and they use advanced as well as pros. They use open standings. So they use advanced players as well as pro players, and they get the top 16 from each conference, and they go at it. They do a crew game, they do 3 doubles games, and they do 3 singles games. Is that right? 2, 4, 6, 10, 6. Yeah.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, it's 16. So 2, 4, 6, 10.
I think it's 4 singles games, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 4, 4, and crew. That's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. 8, 12. Yeah, it's 4 singles, 4 doubles, and crew, and that's how they do it. So sometimes they don't get 16 from some conferences, so they'll combine. But I think this year, I want to say the Atlantic won, right? I think Virginia.
I think
the Atlantic won this
yes.
year. And I think Ohio was second, and I think the Southeast Conference came in third. Yep. So I'm not sure what conference Eddie's in, but I don't think they've ever finished too high.
Hey. Well, I mean, y'all already know I'm going to pull for all my guys. The cool thing is
you deserve to, man. You guys. The
cool thing about my position, Rob's position is, we all love to see growth. Sure, it adds every year adds more competition, but to see the growth in the game, and our division has come a long way since, when it was just the first time we got in, there was only 3 of us, 3 pros out of this conference. So we've come a long way. Now I think we have like 17 now.
Wow.
So we've definitely come a long way.
Oh, and you guys are all great. I mean, if you're facing a Texas guy, I guess you guys are the Southwest, right? Is that what you're called? The Southwest Conference?
Yeah. I mean, we got Louisiana, we got Ian Fritz,
with Ian, that kid's a stud.
Is a monster on the boards.
Yeah, without a doubt.
We have really great players. We got some great guys coming out of Oklahoma this year. The Foremans, I don't know if y'all have heard of them.
Oh yeah. Yep. Jacob and
really great. Jacob and I think he's playing with his cousin. His cousin got in. Matthew Creek Killer got in.
Okay.
We got some great players here. We got another one out of Austin area. So Kenny Tackett as well. Who's going to be he's another great player from my area that I get to play with a lot.
That's the fun part about all this.
Definitely a lot of growth.
To watch it grow. Yep.
Yeah.
Watching it grow, man. I love it.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I see a lot of good things for cornhole coming up, man. No matter where you're playing. I'm actually going to Manassas, Virginia this weekend, and I'm playing I'm not a pro like you guys, so I can do what I want. I don't have a contract, so I'm going to go play in the ACO major this weekend, and I believe they've got over 100 in that one. They also have one down in Florida in your neck of the woods, Rob. Sold out, 300 players. So
hey, we talked about this the other day, man. They're out there playing for freaking trophies. I love it. I mean, if I could figure out a business plan where I could take $50 of your money and give you a daggum medal, I would do it, bro. I would absolutely do it. I would sign 600 players. I'd get the biggest venue I could get to make sure. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But that's just me, I mean, I'm not mad at them, and they keep feeding. I mean, their business plan is working for them, and I don't want to say anything. I don't want you to think that I'm being sarcastic or tongue in cheek. Seriously, it's working for them, and these players are growing, and they're moving, and they're coming in, and they're making noise in the American Cornhole League. I mean, 3 rookies: Eric Davis, Matt Guy, and Brett Guy. I just called them rookies. But those guys were in the shootout final, bro. In the shootout final for $50,000 to the winning team. Yep. I mean, so they're everything they're doing is awesome.
Well, being called a rookie is just a technicality with those
for sure.
3. Just for sure. This year, you've got Eric Zockline, Easy, and
Tanner, yeah.
Rookies.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it though, because the rookie of the year ends up being, it's very competitive.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny at the same time too, though, because you're looking at these guys who have played 15, 16 years, winning rookie of the year, or 8, 9-time world champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but think about it.
It is kind of funny.
Before our time, before the Major League Baseball was Major League Baseball, there were leagues from everywhere, and there were old guys like Sandy Koufax coming in the league at who knows how old he was, pitching and being rookie of the year. You know what I'm saying? So it's you know what I'm saying? It's part of what it's going to be.
I did have a talk with somebody, coming into this league, everybody had high expectations, and this league is deep. Everybody you play is good.
Yeah.
And so there was expectations on players that came in and, they still did really well, but they didn't finish where people thought they would finish, so it's one of those things that you may dominate a different league for the last 10 years, but you come into this league where, like I said earlier, almost every game can be a championship game. You got to play 15 deep of championship games and be perfect.
Well, what I've noticed about the ACL is if you look at who's on ESPN all the time or CBS or NBC, who's at the top of the rankings, it's always like a handful of the same old people. The ones that were dominating in the ACO in like 2010 on up. It's the same people. It's like the Mac guys, the Brett guys, the Jamie
I told you about Jay
Grahams,
Rubin.
the Damon Dennis's. I could keep on naming them. Did I say
But
Rob
Jay
Chismart
Rubin's
too?
up there.
Well, no, I didn't.
Jay Rubin's up there, and he never played an ACO event. So
so's like Trey Birchfield, right?
Right. I don't think he's ever. I mean, he probably has played something, but I mean, he is the world champion. So,
there's exceptions, But,
oh, for sure. But
yeah.
and as this grows, as this league starts to get 10 and 12 years old, there's going to be more exceptions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because these people are going to really, like you said, Eddie. He doesn't have an ACO history, and Cheyenne doesn't have an ACO history. So there's a lot of the young players are not going to have an ACO history as they start coming in. And as this league gets older and older, that league is going to find its place, or, I mean, it's going to continue to do what it does. I don't know how long though. The thing for me, and I don't know anybody else, but the thing for me is I don't know how long I would travel the country. And if I was good like these guys that are at the top of that heap every year in the ACO, I don't know how long I'd travel the country for not knowing how much money I was going to get when I went. So I may go there to hone my skills and hone my craft and move on over to the ACL as fast as I could.
Go ahead, Ed.
So I look at it as something I said earlier as well, Rob, and you bring a good point about that is, you may be winning and you may be the top guy, but still nobody knows who you are. When you're looking around saying, I can compete with these guys, everybody knows who those guys are. You eventually want to get to that point, especially, when you can start getting paid and you can start, advertising yourself.
I do think that's one of the mistakes that Frank does make is that he does force you to put on something ACO when you're on their, when you're on their paid network, and you got to wear something that basically says ACO. So any of your sponsors aren't going to get the same exposure as you're going to get in the ACL. And then the way that people have started doing live streams across this country, they look so professional now that you could almost take that as you, Eddie. You could take that and make that part of your highlight reel that you can show somebody else. It looks professional enough. It looks professional enough that person who's making that decision about giving you money could say, "Holy smokes, this dude was on 12 matches, and they had 12,000 views. Holy smokes, that's good enough for us."
No, trust me. I have I'm able to use my social media platform, and the ACL allows you to do certain things with their platforms as well to get yourself sponsorships. So as long as you still have to put the work in, like I said earlier, but as long as you're willing to put the work in to get these sponsorships, and over time, and you can make a little bit of money at it.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you're a new father too, so that's going to be kind of new to juggle this coming up season, and I hope that works out for you.
Man, so I'll be honest. So she was born 2 weeks before the Vegas National last year, and I don't think I have not. I went to that national with zero sleep, and I ended up making bracket finals in both events. And then what I ended up doing was just telling myself, no matter what happens, just go and have a good time. I didn't put any pressure on myself. And I kind of stuck with that same mentality throughout the rest of the season and made bracket final the rest of the season in pretty much every event. So
that's one of the things I wanted to say to you is that it didn't matter what position you were in when you were playing that game when you were playing Cheyenne and you had to double dip. It didn't seem to matter what the score was. There was just this inner joy smile on your face, like you were just letting it happen.
You know,
that's what it looked like to me when I was watching the game.
I was just happy to be there, man. I don't know. Like I said, had my little girl, and it's just kind of been, I've been playing a little different, just more. I've stopped worrying about it so much and just letting things, just kind of letting play and happen. I'm not able to play or travel as much locally. I'm not able to practice as much. When I do practice, I take it serious. But I just told myself to go out there and have a good time. Let it happen.
But like I said, good luck in the season. Thanks for being on the show, Rob. I'm kind of glad you lost tonight. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, I know. I finished this off over here. I got you. It feels good.
It was a little loud in the beginning.
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah. That's what happens when you're in a tournament. I didn't, I thought I could get some noise canceling. It just didn't work out for me.
No, when you hit that mute button, that cancels the noise.
Yeah, I know. All
for
of it.
us.
Why are you calling me noise, bro? That's not fair.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching, listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Cause we all just wanna be cornhole stars and keep ourselves and driving beat up cars. The crowd gets crazy and the beers ain't cheap. We get drunk all day, so we just don't eat, and we hang out at the local bar, throwing bags in the hole like we had